Money. It affects our everyday life. But how do we make more of it? Manage it. And make sure we make the most of our money. Welcome to Money Mindful, a podcast to teach and support you as you learn to manage your money.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of the Money Mindful podcast. I am your host, Meaghan J Smith. When I'm not coming to you through your ears on this podcast, I am a life coach. I help women get unstuck and create the extraordinary life they want to live on purpose. I work with women just like you who want to change their life and feel better. That's why you're listening to this podcast, right? You want to have more abundance in your life, more money, more fun, more satisfaction. But it's not just about the money, is it? It's how you feel about yourself and your life. It's about who you want to become. That's the result you get from coaching. You become the woman you want to be. You want to feel less doubt, less insecurity, or lack of confidence. Basically, you want to change, but you don't know how to go about making it happen. That's where I come in. If you are a high-achieving woman and want more, I am your coach. I will help you become the woman you want to be. You can work with me by booking a consultation. This is your chance to have someone, me, listen to you for 45 minutes. I ask you lots of questions and then laser focus in on the solution for you. There are lots of coaches out there who are very niche specific. For example, they are a business coach or a weight loss coach and they just focus on that area of your life, or a money coach, which is a beautiful thing. But there are lots of women out there like myself who don't necessarily fit into one of those niches, but you still want to stop feeling like you have the same problems. It's like, yes, you want to create more money and have an abundant money mindset, but actually what you really want is to feel more confident to create what you want. I help women with all of this. I hear you, I see you, I was you. You just want to feel better and have a better life. I've got you. So today I want to help you with this and teach you some ideas I help my clients with. And don't worry, it's all still related to money and mindset. It's all part of it, okay? Decisions. Decisions are what create your life. So I'm going to talk to you all about this today. Now, the last few episodes have been about time and how you manage it. And you may have picked up that being a time management goddess is about making decisions ahead of time, deciding how you will spend your time, right? That's what we went over specifically with Lauren, was it a couple of weeks ago, Monday Hour 1. If you haven't watched that, watch that. If you haven't listened to that, go back and have a listen. It's an amazing episode. A decision is essentially having an idea or a thought and then committing to that idea, like via your actions or non-actions. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment and ask you, what decisions did you make in the past to have the life you have now? For example, I now live in New South Wales because I made a decision to support my partner and his career opportunities. I have 2 children because I made a decision to have kids. I have this podcast because I made a decision to create a podcast. The decisions we make or don't make shape our life. But don't fool yourself into thinking you don't make decisions or you don't have a choice. And I want to elaborate on that. So there are 3 main ideas when it comes to making decisions. The first is that everything is optional. Now, you might disagree with me here, but I encourage you to listen with an open mind. Maybe you earn a certain income and think you don't have a choice about that because that's what your industry pays. But you're choosing to work in that industry. You might feel like you don't have a choice when it comes to your partner, your kids, or your life. You absolutely do. You don't have to be with the partner you're with, or work in the job that you do, or answer the phone call from your mother-in-law. As an adult, you absolutely get to decide. Everything is optional. Now, I'm not suggesting that there's not consequences for decisions. Of course there are, but everything is optional. We truly get to decide. And knowing this gives you so much agency and can also be a huge relief. I think I gave you the example once of the changing my daughter's nappy. I didn't enjoy doing it, but I chose to do it because I wanted a baby with a clean bum. I wanted to take care of my daughter. Now, I could have absolutely not changed her. I could have told my partner that was his job, or let her go with no nappy, or send her to daycare during the days so I didn't have to do it. We tell ourselves that we don't have a choice, but it's a lie. We absolutely do have choice. And when you think about it this way, it gives you so much perspective, because I think, of course, I want to change her nappy. I'm choosing to do that. I want to do that. Right? And it's such a different place to come from being in that space of like, I didn't choose this, I don't want this, I don't want to have to do this, to actually, yes, when you think about it, it's like, I do want this. I am choosing this. All right, the next idea when it comes to decisions is that there are no wrong decisions. Seriously. And I'm going to say that again. There are no wrong decisions. Yes, in hindsight, we might think going out and getting wasted at the office Christmas party was not the result you were going for, but in the moment when faced with a decision you want to make, there's no correct decision. Our brain likes to convince us that there's a right decision because that's your brain's job. It's trying to keep you alive and safe. But whether you invest in your business or invest in shares, which one is right, the decision you make is the right one. Truly, really, I would love for you to try this idea on because it will free you. What if you just decided that there are no wrong decisions and whatever decision you make is the right decision? You can pick any option and either one will be the right decision. This is such an amazing space to create your life from. Okay, the final idea is that the more decisions you make consciously, the better. My take on this is that I think most of us have made decisions in the past and we're still living from those decisions and experiencing the results of those decisions without consciously deciding if it's still what we want. For example, the partner you have right now, would you still choose to be with them today? Like, hands down, I can confidently say I would choose him every day of the week. This is a powerful place to live your life from because it cuts right through all the BS. You know, like, for sure I have days when I'm annoyed with him, but I decided he's the one for me and I decide it every day. But on the other hand, I was working as a teacher and I loved being a teacher. It was perfect for me at the time. Would I decide to be a primary school teacher again today? My answer is no. Now, what some of us do is that we live our old decisions without examining or questioning if that is what we want today. I could still be working as a teacher today and it wouldn't be so bad, but I would be living against myself, doing something on repeat because at some time in the past, I'm talking over 10 years ago, I made a decision. You don't have to keep living your old decisions. Right? This is such a powerful thing to realize because we make decisions and then we just keep living those decisions forever. It's like we don't examine them or re-choose them or decide today, like in the present moment, that that's what I still want and I would choose that again today. You can decide on purpose that you are choosing again. You can re-decide or make another decision. You don't have to hang on to the craft project you have in your cupboard from 5 years ago. Would you choose to do it again today? If the answer is no, let it go or get rid of it. Think about that for a moment. Here's a good one for you. Listen to this. If you are not choosing to be wealthy, you are choosing not to be wealthy. Mind blown. I was thinking this just this week. I was listening to a podcast episode that I was actually on, and it was the conversation between myself and the host. And we were talking about the decisions that we make. And it just suddenly occurred to me, it's if you're not choosing to be wealthy, you're actually choosing not to be wealthy. And I'm just so blown away by this, because think about it. If you're not consciously choosing something in your life that you want and saying yes to it, you're saying no. Now, you don't have to choose to be wealthy, but if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and assume you want to improve your financial situation or your money mindset. Well, my friend, if you're not choosing wealth on purpose, you're actually saying no to it. How crazy is that, right? Take a second to really let that land. I don't care what you do. You know what's best for you, right? Not me. But if you're not going out and deciding to, let's say, create multiple streams of income, you're choosing not to have it. Do you see what I'm saying? So furthermore, what decisions are you leaving on the table? We talk about this a little in the interview that I did with Lauren Cash, which I just mentioned previously. Not making decisions is the biggest time waster ever. I mean, ever. And there's a compound effect. I want you to use your imagination for a second and visualize a little stick figure. The stick figure's standing there and it has a decision to make. Okay, there's option A or there's option B laid out in front of them. Now, stick figure doesn't know which one is the right decision, so they wait. They think about it some more. They weigh up all their options. Meanwhile, stick figure is starting to go grey and they are still in the same place. They haven't moved anywhere. They haven't gone anywhere. And this is the compound effect of our life, the consequence of not making decisions. And if you feel stuck, the quickest way to get out of feeling stuck is to make a decision and do something. Because at the end of the day, option A and option B are both the right decision. It doesn't matter which one stick figure picks. When stick figure picks one, they move forward with their life. And if you're wondering why I'm saying stick figure, I have a little portable whiteboard that I use with my clients, and I'll use it sometimes to demonstrate something that I'm teaching them, and I just draw stick figures. And this is what I'm visualizing in my mind. So if you're wondering why I'm talking about stick figures, that is why. Okay, so now I'm not suggesting if you pick option B, you won't decide later to change to option A. That's fine. But the truth is, we can just decide we made the right decision. We can just decide that whatever we choose is right for us. We waste so much time in indecision. All right, how's this for an example? 18 months ago, I decided to create this podcast. I had no idea what would come of it or where I would end up. I just decided to do it, and I committed to it, and I did it. Next week is episode 52. 52! This is 1 year of episodes. Imagine if I was still thinking about doing the podcast, thinking about what the best intro and outro should be, wondering whether I should call it Money Mindful or something else. This is what we do, and it's crazy. We are letting our lives pass us by. Decision debt is real. Like, just take a moment and contemplate what you are leaving on the table by not making a decision. I have made some of the most amazing connections this past year because of the podcast, and I've had such rich, juicy experiences. Like, just imagine if I was still contemplating whether to do it or not, what it would have cost me. Like, it would have cost me this connection that I have right now with you. It would have cost you, like what you wouldn't have learned or the realizations you wouldn't have had from listening to the podcast. Like, if I really just think for a moment of the cost of not doing this podcast, it's huge. Like, if I was still just sitting around thinking about whether to do it or not. And, like, I was talking to someone not too long ago, and they want to start a business, and they're still thinking about starting a business, and they haven't done it. Now, they might start a business and they might fail. It might not work out how they thought it would work out. But by not actually deciding and moving ahead with it, they're just standing still in their life. And it kills me when I hear stuff like this. Right? Like, you might have noticed, if you've been following me from the beginning, that I've made changes along the way. Like, I've altered the branding or the things I say or write. Imagine if I was still weighing up deciding about the podcast. Like, in hindsight, it's so easy to see all the things I would have missed out on because I can look back. And seriously, I'm not a robot. Like, I have doubts and insecurities too, just like you, but I don't let it hold me back. I make a conscious effort to make decisions on purpose and as quickly as I can. And when I have trouble with that, and I do, like just this week, I spoke to my coach about a decision that I wanted to make, and I was just like, getting my knickers in a knot about it. I got coaching on it and just moved forward. I made a decision. Boom. It's such a powerful thing. Anyway, I'm totally digressing. So, like I was saying that, I've been changing things because on the podcast, because if I decide to use pink in my Instagram colors, for example, I get to see what it looks like. I can always change my mind later, right? I just decide the decision I'm making is the right decision for me right now. Don't leave your life on the table. There are no wrong decisions. Just make a decision and then have your own back. Decide ahead of time you're making the right decision and just fucking go for it. Okay, here's what I want to leave you with. Your happiness doesn't depend on you making the right decision. Your happiness depends on what you think about your decisions. Yeah? Like, if your decisions don't turn out the way that you had planned, the result that you were going for, that's a beautiful thing because you get to learn from it, right? And if you think about it in that way, it doesn't matter if what you decided to do didn't work out the way that you thought that it would or the way that you wanted it to. But by not making a decision, you don't move forward in life. You just live your life on repeat, exactly where you are right now. And if that's what you want, that's totally fine. But I'm guessing, especially if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably not what you want. You probably want to change things and do things differently. So here are the questions I've got for you. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Decide, decide, decide. When you answer these questions, you might decide to say yes again to the decisions that you've already made. And this is such an amazing awareness to have. When you know you are truly living the life that you want, you're saying yes to it and redeciding that it's what you do want. You may also find that you want to make some changes and make new decisions. If you want help with this and want to take this work further to become the person you desire to be, I can help you with that. And the first step is to book a consultation with me. You can do that by just going to the website. What are you waiting for? Decide you are going to create an amazing life for yourself. Get help and do it. Decisions move you forward. You don't need to think about it anymore. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. Just a reminder, book club is next week. Check the website for details. And if you are loving this podcast, I would love you to make a decision to give it a review. Have an amazing week. Make some decisions. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Money Mindful podcast. For more info, visit moneymindful.com.au. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe. And remember, the information in this podcast is of a general nature only and does not take into account your personal circumstances or goals. Please seek professional advice for your own financial needs. Remember to have fun along the way.